Have you ever found yourself, really wrestling with modern relationships?
Uh-huh.
The ups, the downs, just that basic human need for connection?
Absolutely. It's something we all go through.
It is. But what if I told you there's this, well, surprising trend popping up? Something adding a whole new layer to how some people are approaching romance.
That's right. And that's what we're diving into today, this growing use of, well, witchcraft in personal relationships.
Specifically love spells and control spells.
Exactly. It's getting a lot of traction, especially, on social media. And it's sparking conversations that, frankly, most of us probably didn't see coming.
So our deep dive today, it's based squarely on this YouTube video transcript we found.
Right.
And it goes right into this world. It shares direct user stories, even some really wild celebrity allegations.
Yeah, there's something else.
And then it presents this very specific spiritual take on the whole practice.
So our mission really is to unpack this. It's complex, and honestly, for a lot of people, it sounds pretty alarming.
We want to look at why it appeals to people.
Yeah, the perceived appeal, look at the reported effectiveness, what people are actually saying happens, and then really get into the strong counter-arguments and the warnings that our source raises.
Okay, so you get the full picture, a really comprehensive look at what's going on.
Exactly.
So to really get a sense of the scale here, our source talks about witch talk, which, if you haven't heard of it, it's this huge part of TikTok where people are openly sharing videos about, and this is a direct quote, putting spells on their boyfriends without them knowing.
Wow. Without them knowing.
Yeah. And it's not small. The source says Witch Talk has more than 45 billion views on TikTok.
45 billion. That's astronomical.
It really is. Billion with a B.
And the messages in these videos, they're incredibly direct, aren't they?
Oh, totally. It's like immediate calls to action, stuff like, this is your sign, put witchcraft on him. He's not calling you put witchcraft on him.
Right. Just do it now.
Or even more sort of assertive stuff like cast a spell on you. If you came across this video, it's so you need to learn how to control that man and make him submit to your will.
Submit to your will. That's quite explicit. It's a direct invitation to, well, manipulate.
It's incredibly upfront. And the source points out something interesting about like a generational gap.
Oh, yeah.
It says older generations, quote, can't wrap their heads around the fact that this is going on.
I can see that.
But then it suggests Gen Z is, quote, already so desensitized to it, it's normal, it's not a big deal.
So just part of the landscape for them.
Apparently. In fact, it has become an aesthetic. Just, another online thing.
Wow. That's a huge difference in perception. What seems shocking to one group is just normal, even stylish for another.
Yeah.
And the source actually details some of the rituals, doesn't it? It doesn't just talk about it.
No, it gets specific. It describes one simple but effective ritual. Okay, get this. Take a sanitary pad and make a hole in it through this hole. Insert a photo of the person you wish to have in your life.
Okay. Using personal items. That's pretty common in spellcasting lore, right? The idea of a sympathetic link.
Right. And it adds, if you are on your period, it is much more effective.
Whoa. Okay. Very specific. And the underlying message with all this is
that it works. Plain and simple. That's the claim.
And they back that up with stories.
Testimonials.
Oh, yeah. Some really compelling ones. There's this one user, she'd been trying to get her ex back for like 9 months. Nothing worked.
Okay.
Then she finds one of these love spell videos. She calls it her delusional era, but says she did the love spell and within 2 days he was texting me and calling me.
2 days.
Yeah. And then within a week we were hanging out, and now we've been back together for over 1.5 years, almost 2 years.
That's a pretty dramatic turnaround.
Yeah.
And she credits the spell entirely.
Absolutely. She says, I am convinced that the love spell actually worked.
Huh. And how's the relationship now, according to her? Completely different. She says, this man now worships the ground I walk on, like it's a completely different relationship than we were together before, and he would literally take a bullet for me.
Wow.
And it is the most healthy and best relationship I have ever had.
Okay, so from her perspective, it wasn't just effective. It made things better than before, though, you have to wonder about confirmation bias, the power of belief.
Sure. But her conviction is strong. And there's this kind of unsettling part, too.
Yeah.
She says, I have kept it because I'm afraid to throw it away, because if I throw it away, what if he breaks up? We break up.
So she feels tied to it, like its power is ongoing and maybe Fragile.
Seems like it, yeah. And there's another story mentioned, someone used a spell because her boyfriend was treating me bad and I wanted him to act differently. It worked. So direct behavior modification.
Right. Not just attraction, but changing how someone acts. And it goes darker, too, right? The source mentions revenge.
It does. Using witchcraft for, like, payback. It gives examples like, if someone has caused you pain and you want them to feel it 3 times more, here's a simple but effective ritual.
Oof. The rule of 3, but inverted for harm.
Exactly. And another one, if that person made you suffer, make him suffer too with this ritual. So moving beyond just romance into outright retribution.
It really broadens the scope of what people are allegedly using this for.
And then the source kind of shifts gears and brings up celebrities.
Ah, yes, the high-profile allegations.
First one is Hailey Bieber. The source says, people are claiming that she allegedly got Justin Bieber to fall in love with her through witchcraft.
Okay, that's a big claim. Any details?
Yeah, it mentions a little tincture potion she supposedly got when she was about 12.
12.
Yeah, from a witch who lived in the mountains, and the purpose was specifically to make a young Canadian pop star fall in love with me.
Wow. A specific target from a young age, allegedly.
Yeah.
And a tincture, like a magical potion.
That's the implication. Plus, it mentions her messing with different crystals.
Okay. Then there's Jennifer Lopez, right? J-Lo.
Yep. Allegations from her ex-husband, Ojani Noah. He alleges J-Lo used voodoo to cast spells on him.
Voodoo. That term carries a lot of weight, often misunderstood, but here it sounds like it's being used to imply manipulative magic.
Seems that way. And Noah apparently insists her other exes, like Sean Diddy Combs, her second husband Chris Judd, and Mark Anthony, have also been victims.
So a pattern of alleged magical manipulation across multiple relationships, that's intense.
And it doesn't stop there. The source also mentions Katy Perry.
Her too. What's the claim?
That she claims she did witchcraft to hook, line, and sink Orlando Bloom. Allegedly.
Okay, so the source uses these celebrity stories to suggest this isn't just a TikTok trend, but something potentially more widespread, even in, elite circles.
Exactly. But then the source pivots hard.
Right. It introduces this very strong counter-argument, a spiritual warning.
Yeah, specifically from a Christian perspective. It states that for Christians, the spiritual realm and our eyes are wide open, that witchcraft is real and that it is powerful, and that people are using it today in growing numbers.
So from this viewpoint, it's not just a social trend or psychological phenomena, it's a real spiritual battleground.
Right. And these forces involved, these spirits that so many are calling on aren't like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Huh? Not friendly. What's their goal, according to the source?
It says they're actively working night and day to not only keep you from the knowledge of the gospel, but their number one goal is to destroy your life.
Destroy your life. That's
Right.
incredibly serious. So the implication is that dabbling in this opens you up to actively malevolent forces.
That's the core warning. And it asks, what protection do people have?
And the answer is,
The source argues, if you are not under the protection of God, you are on your own in relationships facing these things.
so a need for divine protection against these spiritual dangers.
Yes. And it frames the whole practice of witchcraft for love as, well, fundamentally deceptive.
Also,
It argues that even if it seems to work initially, if somebody does witchcraft to get a man, they may get him, but that happiness will not last, that joy will not last.
so short-term gain, long-term pain.
Exactly. Sooner or later, they will be tormented and the energy inside of them will be drained. It seems good at first, but then, quote, it crashes and it burns just like anything the devil has to offer you. It doesn't last.
That's a very stark contrast to that testimonial we heard earlier, the one about the best relationship ever.
Completely opposite outcomes predicted. So why does this perspective view it so negatively? What's the fundamental problem with it, according to the source?
It says the core reason God hates this stuff is because it perverts love.
Perverts love. How?
Well, it contrasts its definition of love, patient and it's kind, and it protects, with what witchcraft allegedly does,
Which is
forcing somebody to do something that they don't want to do. It says real love doesn't manipulate and dishonor, it doesn't deceive or destroy.
Okay, so the core issue is the lack of free will, the coercion involved.
Exactly. From this spiritual viewpoint, love has to be freely given. Anything else isn't love. It's manipulation, it's control. It fundamentally breaks the concept.
And it even calls the men targeted by these spells victims.
Right, victims who can't even protect themselves without the Holy Spirit's intervention. It really reframes the power dynamic.
It does. So what does this mean for dating then, from this perspective?
Well, it raises some pretty serious concerns. The source warns you truly have no idea if this person is lighting candles and chanting around their room at night with a picture of you on the wall.
That's a chilling thought.
It is. And it adds a warning about what happens if you break up with or hurt one of these witches, suggesting you'd be, quote, on your own, dealing with potential spiritual repercussions.
So for people who hold this Christian belief system, what's the advice? How should they navigate dating?
The guidance is pretty clear. We need to be so careful who we date, and we need to be led by the Holy Spirit.
Discernment is key.
Very much so. Valuing purity and God's truth above all else. The bottom line from this source is that relationships not rooted in God can get really messy and really dark really fast.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
We looked at the surprising trend of using witchcraft in relationships, especially via witch talk. We heard the claims, the testimonials, even the celebrity gossip.
Right, the alleged effectiveness and the sheer scale of it online.
And then we explored this really strong counter-narrative, the spiritual warnings, the idea of demonic influence, the perversion of love.
Yeah, that whole perspective, seeing it as dangerous and ultimately destructive.
So it really highlights that relationships today have these layers, these complexities, maybe far beyond what many of us typically think about.
Definitely, whether it's just navigating weird social media trends or, for some, considering these deeper spiritual dimensions.
The source leaves us with some things to think about too, doesn't it? Like, think carefully about who you're doing this for because you won't be able to distance yourself from that person ever again.
That's a heavy warning. And it makes you ask that question, what are the odds that I find myself in a relationship with somebody that practices witchcraft, or anyone for that matter? It makes the possibility feel more real.
And here's a final thought for you to consider. Drawing from the source, it describes love as this most beautiful and indescribable feeling, but says witchcraft perverts it.
Right.
So if we accept the idea that true love has to be freely given, what does it actually mean when someone takes any action, really, to try and force it? What are the deeper questions that raises about authenticity, about consent, about what a genuine connection really looks like in any relationship, whatever your beliefs?
Yeah. What does it mean to try and manufacture something that by its nature should be spontaneous and free? Something definitely worth thinking about.